I'm very limited to what I can say about this because it's a very unique situation and I've never come across it before. Christian sent me this novelization for Retribution, and I was very excited to read it, as I am with any book that Christian sends me. And I hadn't yet got round to it when I had an email from him telling me that I probably shouldn't bother because due to creative differences, it's actually not going to happen now. It's not going to be released. It's not going to be published. And this is the point where Christian had finished the entire book. And I thought to myself, well, no, that's not on. That's not fair. Somebody's taken the time to create this piece of work and now nobody's going to see it. No, I don't think so. So I said, I'm going to read it. You've taken the time to write it. I'm going to read it. And it was fucking awesome. And that's what pisses me off, because I know it's never going to see the light of day. Nobody else, unless Christian sends it to them, is going to be able to ever read it. And it really makes me sad and angry that this is the case. So I'll give you a brief overview. Retribution, as with all of these at the moment, are retro novelizations of 80s and 90s horror movies. The opening is quite grim. It opens with an attempted suicide of a man jumping off the top of a building. But while he is in between life and death, he sees a greenish yellow tunnel and lights, and something in that, let's go with world, brings him back from the brink. He survives the fall. And we then follow his recovery over a prolonged period of time as his, bones stitched back together, his muscles stitched back together. He becomes physically able to move again, although he does walk with a cane now. And how can I put this without spoiling it? While he's asleep, things happen that he believes are dreams as they're happening, but when he wakes, there's a death in the news. And every detail he knows because he was there, even though he wasn't there. And it goes on like this until we learn about why this is happening and who is actually responsible. I thought that this was, of the three that I've read so far, and I still have The Descent to read, of the three that I've read so far, this was probably the most engaging one for me, because it's very much in the style that I would have written. Like, I know it's based on a movie script, but for me, that's the kind of story I would have written. So it felt like I was closer to it. I was more engaged in it because I recognized things in the story that I would have done myself. The repeated pattern of death and the gradual descent into madness of our main character as he tries to figure out why this is happening and how it's happening. That's the kind of thing that I love to do. So for me, I was much more connected to this one. And I gave it 5 stars. And that, to me, pisses me off even more because nobody's going to see it. So Christian very kindly said that I could review it, as long as I didn't go into details about why it's not happening, hence my creative differences label. And all I can tell you is you're going to be missing out on a brilliant story, unless a way can be found to make it happen. And I'm really sad about it, but I'm so thrilled and so grateful to Christian for allowing me to read it, because it has had an audience. It might be an audience of one, but somebody's read it, and I think that's really important. And I loved the whole thing. I really did love the story. So I thank you, Christian. I am incredibly sorry on your behalf that it's probably not going to happen now. I'm sorry to everybody who's loving the horror novelizations that are coming out at the moment, because you're going to miss out on a doozy. But yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed. Maybe one day more people than me will be able to read it. I hope so, but who knows. And my fourth and final, and I say final, Christian Francis novelization review will be next. However, I know Christian has other ones coming back to him, so it may not be my final one, but it'll be my final one for now, will be The Descent, which I believe is written to mark the 20th anniversary of the movie and is coming out at Halloween time, I believe. So look forward to that one.